the distance track team and I went for a run. But this run was a little different. We all started at the high school, the girls went along South Park Loop, and the boys jogged along the highway, and we all headed toward Melody Ranch. We were each given a reusable grocery bag to fill with as much trash as we found along the way. But we live in Jackson. How much trash can we possibly find in a 4-mile radius? Well, 33 bags full of trash, 10 of which solely contain recyclable items. Shocking, right? My name is Sienna Taylor, I'm 17, and this is why straws suck. My whole life, my parents have been hyper-conscious of the packaging we use. My mom always discouraged me from Lunchables or Go-Go Squeeze applesauce. Basically, anything that had a little too much plastic packaging wouldn't be found in our fridge. As a 7-year-old, I never really understood this, but 10 years later, I'm the one enforcing it. When I was little, I thought I was going to be an oceanographer. I loved the ocean and everything in it, and then I realized the harm humans are causing it. I saw pictures of garbage patches, oil-soaked seagulls, and bleached coral reefs. My love for the ocean turned into my desire to save it, along with everything else we were harming. This year, I had the opportunity to lead Jackson in a national youth climate strike. Months of preparing led to a day where we encouraged students to skip school and protest for climate change action. The turnout was greater than I had ever expected. I learned that people really do care about our environment, but I also watched people show up to the strike with plastic water bottles and disposable cups with lids and straws. So despite the fact that they cared, they weren't totally conscious of their own environmental footprint. Today I'm going to talk about how one straw can make a world of difference. Now you've probably heard of the countless organizations and movements aimed to ban plastic straws all over the world. And if you haven't been pitched on this already, here are some of the more obvious reasons why. Americans use 500 million plastic straws every single day. That's enough to circle the earth 2.5 times. Plastic straws are made out of type 5 plastic, so in many places like here in Jackson, they can't be recycled. And since plastic never biodegrades and can never fully degrade, once they're in our ecosystem, they stay in our ecosystem. Plastic straws are the 11th most common piece of trash found in our beaches and our oceans. Now, many of you are probably thinking, that's not so common. Why are we so worried about straws? They seem so insignificant in the long run. Only a tiny cylindrical tube of plastic, so small to the world of pollution we face. But that also means they're so insignificant to our daily lives and quite easy to go without. Yes, I'll admit, sometimes they're handy, they're convenient and easy for travel, but they're not necessary in most circumstances. And when they are, there's a variety of alternatives. Metal straws, bamboo straws, paper straws, glass straws, and pasta straws, just to name a few. We have to realize that they're a luxury, not a necessity. Thanks to our local organization, Straw Free JH, we now have 49 restaurants here in the Valley that only serve straws upon request. By doing so, Local and Trio have reported going from serving 700 straws a day to just 25. This also includes plastic stirrers that most restaurants are accustomed to serving. With just these 49 restaurants and all members of Straw Free JH taking on this initiative, we are preventing 1.4 million plastic straws and stirrers from making their way into our landfill every year. Now imagine if all of you said no to the straw. Imagine if everyone in Jackson alone avoided straws and plastic stirrers. The amount of trash being diverted from our landfills would be monumental. With climate change becoming a big looming death sentence, everything seems overwhelming. How can I, as a mere individual, do anything to contribute to the global cause? We hear it all the time. Our planet is dying. We must act now. But do we ever make any personal changes? The mindset is that it's too late, or we're all going to die anyway. Why would I change my ways? But the reality is, if we all quit our single-use plastic habits, we would be shocked by how much we could save. But the most important thing is the mindset shift. If our mindset is that climate change is inevitable and nothing in our power can change that, then you're right, nothing will get better. But if we say to ourselves, I'm going to do anything in my personal power to help this planet, even if it includes quitting small, meaningless habits, then conquering pollution just became 10 times easier. It starts with the straw, but it certainly doesn't end there. Over 1 million seabirds and 100,000 marine animals die every year from not only ingesting straws, but all types of single-use plastic. So really, we're not just worried about straws, but they serve as a gateway, as a bridge to a world free of single-use plastic. Because once we realize we can go without the straw, that opens doors to a variety of products we can go without. For example, when you walk into the grocery store, think about what you can avoid. When ordering a cup of coffee, go without the plastic disposable lid. When buying fruit, opt out of the pre-sliced products that involve a plastic clamshell. And of course, avoid the plastic bag. Here in Jackson, we're fortunate that a plastic bag ban has been implemented. But a ban on plastic bags shouldn't be the only thing keeping us from using them. It always shocks me when I walk into a grocery store and I see someone using a plastic bag just to carry out the 1 or 2 items they bought. Of course, I'm not blaming anyone. It's human nature. But now I want to change that behavior and make it our habit to avoid these unnecessary resources. As humans, we've learned to use everything put in front of us. If it's free and available, we'll take it. But now it's time to change that mindset and say no to plastic straws, plastic bags, and anything we don't completely need. Once we realize these little shifts we can make, the bigger the impact we will have. These little things also become habits too. Looking into my daily life when I pack my lunch for school, I avoid Ziploc bags and saran wrap and instead use reusable containers or pouches. And of course, I always carry around my own silverware. I bring a reusable fork or spoon in my lunchbox every day. Even if I eat my home-packed meal or from the cafeteria, I always have these utensils on hand. Now, many of you probably do this already, but for those of you that don't, this is an easy, attainable goal. Simply slipping a reusable straw, fork, or grocery bag into your purse or center console of your car makes all the difference. So I'm challenging all of you to start by avoiding at least one thing of single-use plastic a day, whether that be a straw, a fork, or a plastic bag. Once you realize how easy and effective this can be, start doing it more often. Pollution may be overwhelming, but our own personal changes don't have to be. Thank you.